then I'm gonna go with third stream. Third stream. I'm just chatting. I'm gonna go. And what am I gonna go with? I'll go with. Oh flip! I don't have it downloaded. Or just chatting again, then just to make sure there's continuity. I'm gonna go colon. Third stream. It has to be. It has to be live. Okay. We're rolling. We're live. Everything's rolling. Good. Cool. Right. Today I have a chair, and I also have a different scene. Right. A whiteboard. So I finally learned how to do this. There. I don't know if you can hear me. Hopefully the mic, everything is working as normal because I didn't change anything. So I'm actually gonna play it on my phone and see. What? Okay, let me see Stream Manager. Skip tutorial. Okay, can anybody hear me? All right, good. Good, you can hear me. Right. I don't watch my streams back or my VODs. I just go in, not knowing what the flip is gonna happen with the day. What I want is to get to a position, right, where my thoughts are very streamlined. But I'm not gonna get there unless I fail and fail and fail. So I'm always trying to do the next thing or do something new because I'm actually trying to be a pretty good content creator and a streamer. Have nobody here right now. I was actually thinking of putting my my stream category to, there's a new one I found. Let me actually see if I have it. Oof, where is it? Yeah, it's called Talk Shows and Podcasts. You know how there's just chatting? It's talk shows and podcasts, right? And I learned that if you have a niche that has less viewers, it's good to grow. It's easier to grow there. So if I'm going on just chatting, like you have to scroll all the way down to find my videos. But let's, for instance, go to Talk Shows and Podcasts. If you scroll, like it's this here. I'll show you. So you see this? Like just chatting, talk shows and podcasts. And you see like the different games and stuff. Like that, right? If you go on just chatting, you have to keep scrolling all the way to see the streamers with like 0 views. But if you put your stream on talk shows and podcasts, then you see like, you know, it's like it's easier to see small streamers, right? I'm trying to be a very big streamer, so I'm just gonna do what works. And today, and I'm experimenting live as well. Every single day I'm streaming. Every single day I'm experimenting live, and I'm always going to like try to innovate after each stream, and it's actually working because now I have this. I always watch YouTubers sort of have this thing, but I never knew how to do it when I started. I only started 2 days ago. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna keep doing that. And I have so many ideas to like make sort of TikTok videos and this, but I already talked about that in the last stream. Right. What do I have in store today? Okay. Today I want to use the whiteboard, and I'm just gonna sort of explain what I do while using the whiteboard. I'm still experimenting. It's my first week, so I'll work with you guys. Okay, let's go. I don't know if it's too close or if it's too far, or if I'm too to the side. Actually, that's good, right? Okay, that's fine. I don't like looking up. I'd rather be looking down, but I don't have a monitor. Not monitor. I don't have like a stand for this yet, so it has to be like this. Um. Okay. Let me go here and show you guys what I'm about. Right. What do I do? Well, my description says is I think. Wait, hold on. It's black. Yeah, black's better. All right. I'll use this. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I have to go pro to get that. So crazy. Nothing's for free. Okay. Well, I think, I talk, and I sometimes do. What does that mean? Essentially, I'm trying to do something great, and I'm looking at every way that could be possible. And for me personally, and you guys don't really know me that much, you guys don't even know me at all. I'm trying to do whatever it takes to make sure that I bring as much value as I can to the world. And I think content creation is a fantastic way to get that done. It's like in today's age, attention is split towards many different things. It's not sort of consolidated. So I think by sort of trying to illustrate what I want to do, it would bring attention and sort of like a timeline between from where I started to what I did and so on. And I think that's just a fantastic way for me to live my life, honestly, right, in content creation. And I always had like dreams of making fantastic videos and shows and stuff like that. And as much as the content creation like platforms keep innovating, then the more that people can bring to it. So streaming is something that I saw take off, and I'm like, oh, I can be doing YouTube and this, but streaming, I need to get good at this as well. And being present, being live, and to sort of display your thoughts is a very great skill to have. So that's why I want to stream as well, and for other reasons too. Yesterday I spoke about sort of what would be my pitch to whoever new comes on stream, and it's like I'm trying to gain a large market share of the content creation economy in order to entertain people as well as inform people about sort of different things that I deem important, so that people can be motivated to bring as much value as they can into the world. Not just motivated, but responsible for. So that's kind of my thing. Okay, I have a whiteboard in front of me. I have these two things. I don't know why. I'll just go back. All right, let's talk about a topic. I had some topics come up in the past two streams, but let me see one that I didn't dissect all that well. Okay. All right, timeline of the world. Let's say world timeline. Right. I'm just gonna be talking. Oh wow, it's not showing up there. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I need to be. Okay. That was just me testing it. Right. I need to check. All right. Let me see. World timeline. And I might as well actually bring this smaller. Is that gonna mess it up? No, it's not. Okay, world timeline. Okay. Let me sort of dissect my knowledge. Right now, actually, I'm reading this book called History of Psychology, but my memory is terrible, right? I don't have the best memory, so like, I would read a lot of things, but I'll forget it. But your memory is also part of like your skill. You need to develop a great memory, and I think that social media is actually one of the things that actually hurt memory, and like lack of sleep and all these extra things. So I have like a rough idea of what the world is in my mind, right? But the most way that I see the world is through actually a religious perspective. I spoke about that, but that's the way that I see the world. Religious perspective. Right, I see the world through a religious perspective, right? So what religion? Okay, so it's Christianity. That's like I'm a Christian, and I see the world through a religious perspective. But it also enables people to sort of go and actually, that's what the text says, right? it actually tells people to go on to learn as much as they possibly can, and it's actually very fascinating how much you can do based on your knowledge. And this is the same theme I'm going to keep sort of speaking on continually and continually, right? People can grow monumentally. Last year, I actually tried this. I tried to learn as much as I could. I tried to sort of go from 0 to 1 in as quick of a time as possible, but it just doesn't work. You learn something, but you have to go based on your strengths, right? And I couldn't tell where I where I was, so I was inflating what I actually could do. So what last year taught me is like, okay, even if you want to do something fantastic, something great, you have to be willing to put the all your time into that one thing, right? So let me give you a bit of my background. Okay, grew up in Nigeria, came to Ireland, school system, all of that, never sort of failed a year, always went past. And then I worked really hard for my secondary school, like leaving certificate, right? So like in the UK it's like the GCSEs, in America it's probably the SATs. But I'm thinking that the SATs are kind of different now. I think it's just like, never mind. But I think the SATs and the GCSEs are 1-to-1. So I'm just gonna say I took exams that were 1-to-1 with like the SATs. I did many different stuff. And then I went and studied aviation because of the name, right? Aviation is something hard. So when you study it, you're gonna be very, very smart, right? And you're gonna be guaranteed something. That's kind of the idea that I went. It's actually, I have the whiteboard in front of me, but I'm still sort of deviating from it. There are gonna be a lot of tangents, and I don't know if I'm gonna increase the time, but I have to get what I want to say in like an hour. So yeah, the whiteboard is pretty good because it lets me like keep track of what I'm really talking about. Anyway, right. I always just focused on the information that I got in school, right? I never really went out, nothing really mattered, you know what I mean? Like, so far you're in school, you're gonna just keep progressing, right? Even if you sort of didn't do as well, like it wasn't a thing where you had to be the best. So in my idea, I was just like, oh, you don't really have to be the best at anything. But that is not the way the world works. The world does not work like this. And this thing of like having a world timeline or understanding the world is that there's like multiple dimensions to this, right? The way you see the world, I have a religious perspective, but that's not the whole way I see the world, right? I can have a religious perspective, but I can also put myself in other people's shoes as well. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that everybody needs to look at the world through sort of one lens and there's just one lens that's like perfect. No, I actually really like the fact that there is a lot of flexibility and people can. I like how vast, like, I like the vast array of personality types that there is. And I think that's like a beautiful thing. So for me, it's like, I want to sort of look into somebody else's mind and actually find out how they think and what they're motivated by and what they can accomplish based on what they know. You know what I mean? But also that telling people that can actually make them try to pursue things that are way above their capabilities. So where is the fine line? You know, where is the right position where you can quantify what you can do, but incrementally grow it to make sure you do the most possible good that you can. That's what I'm looking towards. So this world, not world timeline, but like kind of your idea of what the world is, your perspective on the world is very, very important. And I think this should kind of be the avenue that people are being taught, like have the way the world is, like a rough idea because everyone has a limited amount of information. Let me actually make the circle better. Have the way the world is, right? And then anytime you learn something, you keep like filling it in, you know, and then you link different ideas and be very present when you're doing this sort of all the time. Okay. One thing with me is that now ever since like, was it 2 years ago or last year? It was 2 years ago, but I think middle of 2024, I started like really wanting to learn as much as I could, but actually deters you from studying what you're doing in college or school or whatever you're doing. So this is what I use my apps, and I just kind of have different subjects on here. I use my notes app to have different subjects on here, and in each folder it goes into a different folder where um where it's just like a never-ending, continuous um streams of folders, right? That is just another information. So every small bit of info can be expanded or broadened as much as possible. So where do you stop? Where do you stop, right? When does the learning stop? And I think the learning really never stops. It doesn't stop at all. So who knows the most? Who knows the least? And who do we trust to sort of give us like the right amount of info to do the most that we can, you know? Thinking about it now, actually, this is not something I've thought about before. It's like, okay, from what I'm thinking, the school is like, let me actually clear this, just delete. Right, the school is like basic info, right? Like it's what you get in school. And this is like secondary school from like primary school first and then secondary school. That's like basic information. But college is where you get a more focused info. So uni, right, more focused. Right. But I don't think, right, if people are giving the right like info or knowledge, I don't think everyone would. I think a lot of people wouldn't care about going to university. You know what I mean? Because if everyone is working towards sort of like the one thing, obviously going to uni, like it's a fantastic endeavor and you learn so much from there. But I believe more people, if they actually had sort of the right info, because this is not something you learn over a course of like years and years and years. I think people would sort of go on their own, right? Try to do their thing, and whatever they can't do, then they will go into uni and try to get it through that means, right? But I believe that most people, right? Let me call this secondary school. Right. But I believe that most people, as soon as the secondary school is just done, they just they just go straight into uni without even really understanding. And they just sort of highlight what job is gonna pay the most, and then they go into that field of study without really caring or knowing. And then in there, then you do like the hard work. When you're in here already, you do the hard work. You know what I mean? Actually, instead of recording the whiteboard, I'm probably just gonna start recording the screen so that like you can see my cursor moving. Okay, so people would just go straight from secondary school right into uni without really doing like the most amount of research, because as I said before, let me delete this again. As I said before, right? The knowledge you get in school is basic. When I say school, I mean like from the start to secondary to the end of secondary school. That's what I mean. It's like basic. So when people are doing well, right? And to do well, you actually need to sort of go outside and then learn some stuff outside and come in and learn that and do well. But when you have this sort of basic information, right, there's still a perception that you're smart. Right. Now, knowing this basic information is cool, right? And like getting the best grades passing it. It's not really a showcase of how smart you are. Right? It's smart plus hardworking plus IQ plus everything as well. Right? So it's not really the best representation of what an individual will do outside of a school setting. You know what I mean? Okay. Why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this, like I said before. Um, when people have a particular information and are giving the agency to just go off on their own and do something, right? They realize very quickly how incapable they are of doing things without maybe other people or without the correct info. You know what I mean? But school gives people this safety that they don't have to think for themselves or have the agency to go out and do something, or they don't need to have that agency because that agency is like it's uncertain. You know, school is more certain. If I get good grades, I get good stuff. I get good grades, my teachers are happy. If I get good grades, my parents are happy, right? But if I go out and try to start a business, it's like it could fail, you know. But if I go to a new class, I've been here before. I'm obviously gonna do well if I really cared to, or if I really wanted to. So then there comes a thing of sort of I saw this. I asked ChatGPT this, and I just when I do this, I kind of talk to AI sometimes, and like I ask about some things that I don't understand. Like, remember I was thinking about this before, and it was like, okay, why did I feel like I deserved anything based on my degree? Because I heard in like loads of videos before, 'cause I was on YouTube, oh, your degree doesn't matter, your degree doesn't matter, your degree doesn't matter. But then it was like I was hearing that sort of um talking points, but surrounding music, right, and art. Now, me personally, I loved art and I did extraordinarily well in art. But because I was hearing all these things from outside, remember, let me actually write it down. So I was hearing all these things about like a degree not mattering, right? Degree not matter. I just say mattering, right? I was hearing about this outside of school. But this was more about art and music, right? Now I'm gonna embarrass myself here, but I need to do this to get it off my chest first for you to understand where I'm coming from, where my position is, and then for you to understand what I'm trying to do and how I'm going to accomplish it. Because everything, good, bad, ugly, all of it is gonna be on here. But you'll be surprised as to how much I genuinely can grow. Okay, so this was swirling around about like art and music, right? So I was actually recommended to go to art school, but I didn't want to because you're not gonna, I'm not gonna, how am I gonna be a millionaire doing art? It doesn't make any sense. And I never did research or nothing like that. I was always just decent in school and like, I was just getting the grades that was okay to get me next, right? If I needed to like get the best grades in order to get to a really good school, that's what I'll do. To get to a really good college, that's what I do. I just wanted to get there and then get there and then go there. Okay, so I heard this about art and music. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, what the YouTubers, what they were telling me, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not falling for that trap, right? So when in Ireland, when you finish your leaving cert, it's like they give you sort of a list of courses to do in college and a list of things. I was never not going to college. My family is like education oriented, education. So there was no way I was not going to college, right? So I wanted to make my mom happy. I wanted to make my mom happy. So I picked a lot of colleges. The thing that I had in my mind to do and the thing that I really loved and sort of was it seemed cool and also you can make money from it, right? That thing was mechatronic engineering, right? So mechatronic engineering. Now, I never did anything about technology in school ever. And I was the type of person not to get information or study anything that has nothing to do with the information in school. So right now you're probably coming up with this thing, yeah, this guy is not really the sharpest in the in the park. And just give me a second. Right? So that was my first choice. That was my main thing, right? Mechatronic engineering. It's like you're able to build robots. Wow, that's fantastic. You know what I mean? Then I picked a lot of courses. Like I think I picked two with mechatronic engineering, picked one with computer science, I picked others like just technology like courses. You know what I mean? And then there's this other aspect, right? These are the bachelor's degree courses. You know, the ones I picked like that links to mechatronic engineering. These are the bachelor's degree courses. All right, so I picked all of that. But there's other courses, right, that you can pick just in case something goes horribly wrong. They're called like the level sevens. You know what I mean? Like bachelor's degree in Ireland is like a level 8, and these ones are the level sevens. Okay, so they always say, okay, just put something in there just in case. Put something in there just in case. So I didn't even know what the flip I was doing with level 8 to level 7. I was just putting random stuff in, and following the theme of like technology. I was looking at these different sort of technology things. Any course that had the word technology in it, I just put it because I didn't know what the flip I was doing with technology. I didn't understand it. So there was this course that I picked that was called aviation technology. Is that it? Oh no, it's not there. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for the next stream. I'm gonna fix that. So my apologies. Alright, so aviation technology. I picked that. I'm just gonna call it AT. Right? Aviation technology. Now I thought, no, let me move further. Now, after I done my leaving cert and everything like that, all done, right? I got two courses. I didn't get into the mechatronic engineering, whatever the case may be. I got into computer science. And then I got into all my level 7s, right? Including aviation tech. Now, me thinking, right? I just want to get paid. So these are fine. I wasn't even thinking about this that much. It was just like people go there, it's calm, it's whatever the case may be. I didn't bring up that level 7 5. It was always like around, but I never brought it up. So I was looking at them both, and I was just like, any mini money mo. They both came out like any mini money mo. I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna just do the grades, the comfort, like you're comfortable. Go there, pass my exams, do what I need to do, and then get a job. Get a job. And to be honest, I'm lucky that I did aviation technology, because if I did what I was intending on doing, regardless, because I worked very hard for my leaving cert, very, very hard, right? If someone told me that, oh, you can just go back, do your leaving cert again, and then get a course you want, because me personally, I didn't care what I did. I just wanted to do something that could give me some money and then figure it out. I always wanted to do YouTube or whatever the case may be, but I just never had enough money to buy a PC, so I just never did it. You know what I mean? I was always thinking, okay, as soon as I'm done university, I would have a job and I'll buy a PC, and then I'll then I'll start doing YouTube and figuring out, and that's gonna be sort of what I do. I didn't care about being the best at anything. I didn't care about doing this. All I wanted to do was just live a normal life, very above average life, where I can, let's say, go on vacation, do some stuff, and then live sort of like a usable lifestyle where I'm working hard at YouTube and I can make decent amount of money. Right? That idea was always there, but I just never did anything. I just never did anything. So back to that safety of school. Now, this is my Twitch channel, so this is about me. Now back to that safety of school. I went to aviation tech. Just off a random pick. Aviation tech. Didn't know nothing about like institutions, education, this and this and this, requirements, all that. I just knew being a doctor was hard and long, so I didn't want to do that. And I knew doing music and art were just you would just be completely poor in life. So I'm not doing that. So in the middle, all these guys going to all these technological things, all these guys are flipping smart and whatever. So I was like, yep, let me go into aviation technology. To cut a long story short, this was a how do I say it? It's one of those courses, and mind you, it's in the name. It's like it's a level 7, so like normal people should be aware of it. But I still had this thing that I worked so hard on my living cert. I got that above average. I got into different courses, so like I'm smart and I deserve something as a reward. You know what I mean? But the people that were going to aviation technology were, and I never compared myself with other people. It was just like I'm doing better than what they expect a human being to do. I'm putting myself above that like mediocre range. I'm doing more than what they expect. Right? It's a thing of sort of effort versus expectation. Right? So I went to aviation tech. Now the people that went to here with me came from all over. Like in university, people come from everywhere, all over the globe to come, work hard, study, get smarter, and then go get a job and work that job for the rest of their life. Right? Me personally, I didn't care about working in the job I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I I didn't care about doing all that. I just wanted to be good enough to do the job, make some money, and then put that money into a career on social media or something like that. It was always the idea, right? I had other ideas of when I was like 4 years old. I wanted to be an astronaut, so like the aviation thing came into play because it's you're linking things, right? And then other times I was in aviation, I was seeing how like nice planes are, and I had another idea of, oh, maybe I could be a pilot and stuff like that. But what I never really thought or understood is my actual capacity to do, right? Because you're being bred to understand what the state of the world is, but you're getting basic information on just particular subjects without having that sort of like worldview. Because every subject you learn, they're always decentralized, right? You're not learning one thing in one class and then they're mixing it and asking you questions about your other class, and you're combining all the information and making something fantastic out of it, right? The most time you do that is when you do like your final year report in college. Is like your dissertation or thesis, right? And we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, so right, you're not building your worldview in school. It's like the centralized areas of information. Okay, so I actually need to get some water. Give me 1 second. All of this will make sense in the end. Trust me, just 1 second. Okay. Where's my phone? Okay, it's right here. Right, little intermission. Okay, where was I? Right, you're in school. You're getting like sort of decentralized information from different teachers who specialize in sort of training students and teaching them about that subject, right? So you're just passing classes and moving along. Obviously, right? It's sort of like implied that you just know how to manage yourself and do this, and that's like the agency you have to just know and do that and that and that, this, that, and the third, right? So you just keep moving along. But me, anytime I'm done the test or passed it, that doesn't matter to me anymore. It's done, right? It's like, oh, you get tested in this and then you have like 3 months off. You know what I mean? When you have 1 year of school, like 3 months off, you just 1 year of school, 3 months off, and then you get to work or something. Now, this is how I'm thinking, right, in real life. And trust me, I'm going to really embarrass myself a lot. But moving forward, there's going to be a lot more densely packed, tight discussions that I want to have about things, but I go from very small to very big, right? I have it here, right? But I need to speak about sort of and encapsulate everything that I'm thinking, right? In order to really illustrate that point that I'm trying to make. So you're gonna have to watch it in steps. If you wanna see how I come up with these, then you kind of have to watch as much as possible. But if not, then it's fine, right? You can meet me at whatever point you want, and you might still take a thing or two from it. Okay, right? So, me myself, I always just went past because everyone was nice. Everyone is school is nice. You know, you're doing your work. I used to mess about sometimes, but I didn't do too much. Like I was comparing. I was always like, okay, who's the best student and who's the worst student? Let me just be slightly closer to the best rather than the worst. But it's still in that sort of mid range because I didn't. I didn't care. I didn't care to flip it. Try to be the greatest or the best in any regard. Like it didn't really matter to me, right? Before I was very smart, I was very capable, and every time we learn something in school, right, I will just remember it, and anytime the test comes up, I'll just do the test and I'll do very well. When it came to a point where you're just learning so much that you actually had to study, okay, now that was a killer. I didn't care, bro. I would study, but I wouldn't study enough. They'd be like, wait, I'm just going to spend all my time reading this thing continuously over and over in order to just stay there and get the good grades. Nah, I'll just get whatever I think I need to. And I think in like second or third, so the third year in like secondary school, right, is when it got hectic because I think I failed something, but then I was like, I saw my mom's reaction, and then I was like, okay, no, I have to genuinely like do fantastic, you know? I have to just try to do as much as I can to at least get to that, to like a place where it's like, okay, it's cool, you're calm. Okay, so this is how I treated knowledge before, right? Very young. I'm sort of mushing in very young college life and whatever, but walk with me here. Okay, so this same idea of information bled into university. No, actually, not really like that. Okay, yeah, it is like that, but it changed, right? The Leaving Cert was a mission. Everybody was working hard to get that thing, to get the most amount. It was like the end of the world if you don't do it. So everyone working hard. So when everybody's like kind of in this race to get to the finish line, to get to like this good place to be, right? Then I'm hungry, right? I'm looking at left and my right. Who's the smartest? Remember, the smartest to the dumbest. I'm aligning myself with the smartest person, and we're running to this finish line because it's not just like talked about. It's like it's something that's like there's urgency in it because as soon as you start, it's like a fun roller coaster. You know, it's a fun, annoying, agonizing roller coaster, but everybody understands. You know, everyone understands that. Oh, you have to do well in your Leaving Cert. Like it's like no, you have to do well in your Leaving Cert. This everybody just knows and everyone just do. If you're talking to this person, they're doing it. If you're talking to this person, they're doing it. So in that environment, I was also one of the person that was like, oh, I'm studying all the time, every time because everyone is doing it. So I'm just gonna do it as well in order to hit that goal that everybody collectively is all working towards, you know. And I hit that goal and I was happy with my result. I was like, because it was kind of suspenseful from when you finish the exam to when they show you the results, and like right after like it's you start university, it was suspense. But then I was like, whew, there was a relief because I did all that work for this thing. Okay, right, right, and oh, even in that period, there's so much more story. Like there's so much more because there's just so much more that I can say. But I want to really get this point like full circle, right? The thing about sort of world view, how you view the world. Okay, So coming out of that from sort of a restless environment where you're all striving to achieve this one goal, right? This one goal of doing well in your leaving cert so that you can go to college. That was the thing, go to college, right? Not go to the best institution, right? It wasn't implied that everyone's trying to go to the best institution. My school didn't. There was no bit of information that told us that, right? I would say, okay, I go to school, I get all the information I need. When I'm out of school, when I'm done studying, then it's like I can enjoy myself. You know what I mean? There was no doing anything else outside of the school to sort of as a sort of work, you know what I mean? Right? If you wanted some money, you just go work in a shop somewhere or something like that. Some people did it. I thought it's pointless because you don't have enough time to study. So I just didn't do it when I was in secondary school, you know. I was giving myself enough time to study for the leaving cert. But when we went to college, it was a completely different story. Right? Remember that thing I said about the level 8 versus the level 7. I did a level 7, and in secondary school, everybody is the same. Everybody's young and everybody's growing and learning the basic information before they get to the more condensed info that you get in college. So you can have the smartest individual in the world in your school and the dumbest individual in the world in your school. But when you get to this stage, where it's like the level 8 to the level 7, then the bar is dropped a lot. And this thing, I didn't understand this thing at all. I didn't understand anything about a bar or about competition or this and this. Because me personally, I'm giving back what I'm being received. The teachers were nice, right? Everyone was cool. Everything is not that deep. Like, obviously study a lot, but it's not that deep. It's like whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to get like the highest grades, you know? You just have to get the decent one and it's fine. You know what I mean? Okay, coming from a level 8, like coming to college in terms of like the split in Ireland, like a level 8 and a level 7, then it gets drastically different. Okay, the level 7 folks are the people who don't know stuff. Well, not who don't know stuff, but the people who didn't get the grades that I wanted to get. Me personally, I got the grades. Right, I didn't get into mechatronic engineering now, but I got into computer science, and that was like, you know, it was fine. You know, it's more of like the sort of brains behind the robot, essentially. You know, and it was like it's a good field of study, right? I just wanted to have enough knowledge and understanding to be able to get that job. That was what I was focused on, to be able to get that job, right? In the level 7, right? I did it. I went in there, but it was different. You know, it was different. Like, people that were around me was like they didn't really care to be the best either, or I guess do a lot. I always had a view that if I just put in a little bit more effort, then I could be a superstar, right? That was my view. I didn't know that the further you go away from the hard stuff, the less likely it is for you to learn the hard stuff. Now, in this level 7, we did zero, zero hard stuff. Like, I'm telling you, nothing. So, because it was so simple, it was like so simple. Me, myself, I didn't even try. Like, it was simple, but I still didn't even try, you know? And with this, I got a mediocre grade in a simple course. I got a simple grade. Now I'm really condensing a lot of information because I have to, right? I'm condensing a lot of information. So I got a simple grade in a simple course. Now this simple grade and simple course couldn't get me that job I wanted. Right? There's a finite amount of jobs in the world, and each position is based strictly on competition. The same way the leaving cert and competition was implied in for when you're going to college, the competition was there was no talk about competition in terms of jobs or whatever at all throughout my whole tenure in this It was like, oh, you're doing this, you have all these courses, you put them here, nice in your CV, and then you go, they give you an interview and you talk about it. No. Throughout the course of this time, right, in my level 7, the world changed so many times, right? Okay, in like, let's say the, hold on, let me go back. Let's say, and this is for every course. This is not just relating to mine, right? Let's say for every college degree, right? You know exactly what you're going to study from the minute you, from the minute you get given the course and you sign up and you go, yes, I'd like to take the course. You know everything from your first day to your last day. Everything you're going to study is already written, organized, and known. Now, if the industry changes so much towards that time, and there's a certain amount of requirement, right, that makes sure that it proves that you deserve that grade. You get what I mean? Those requirements and the industry are not gonna align. Now, going back to basic information, what I knew and sort of how I got mine, right? And how I just move forward, like the trend from my secondary school days to this. Now, when you consider the fact that I'm in a level 7, right? I didn't understand the discrepancy between a level 8 and a level 7. I didn't think it was that bad. And the fact that we did no hard stuff in this course, I was called aviation technology. Now, I was thinking that I was becoming a technology expert. I was thinking that because how they present the knowledge or the information in the school is like, we're learning the thing, but I don't even understand like what's to, you know what, I don't even understand like what we're being quantified on, like what is our capabilities right after, you know what I mean? I don't get that, right? The only thing I get about capabilities and how they assess your capabilities is the exam, right? The exam, that's the only thing. So from the first day to the last day, nothing was applied about anything outside of these exams. So when you get these exams, you know your place, and then you get slotted into where you deserve. For me, I didn't get the best degree, like the best, like I didn't get first class, but I always thought, okay, cool, I wouldn't get the best job, I wouldn't become a millionaire quickly, right? But I can go to the other job and then work my way up, or work on something else while making money incrementally. Right. Life doesn't give a single crap about the individual. It doesn't matter, right? There's a stage where it will hit you like this, that, oh crap, maybe I made the wrong decision, right? Oh crap, maybe I made the wrong decision. And depending on how much you messed up is how much you have to sort of do back. Now, for someone who went to university and didn't get the best degree, right? Okay, because people do that all the time and then they learn further and then they get the thing. But in today's age, and how rapidly the industry changes, it's like now it's not even just school being sort of basic info. The degree is like a basic requirement. Everything you need to know, it's outside of the degree. The degree can help you a little bit, but not really much. So you actually have to study very hard to get yourself into a particular job, right? But the thing with me is, I can't just accept that. There is no way, after the fact, right? There is no way I did all of that for so long and I'm just meant to accept that I deserve something less. No, it's just, there's no way. There's no way. And you will listen to this, whoever it is, and you will think that I'm genuinely just, I don't know what I'm talking about, or this and this and this. But I'm going to tell you exactly what I was like. And after I've sort of made that clear, I'll tell you what I am like. And then I'll tell you what I aspire to do and be, and why I think that is actually possible and stuff like that. So let me delete this. I deserve something more, right? That was a talking point. I deserve something more. So I'm just going to just see how I can do. So after university, right, I got a physically intensive job. There was no hangars. I was an aviation technologist. There was no hangars, no nothing. Got a physically intensive job, and I was like, why the flip is this happening to me? What is that song? Why is this happening to me? What have I ever done to deserve this? And there was just no time to plan or do anything, because I would send my CV out to places, but like they wouldn't respond at all. But like in my head, I'm like, well, I got this fantastic leaving cert result. Right. And I have a degree to boot. I deserve a lot. I deserve at least something. I don't want to be working with my hands. I want to be in an office somewhere or in a hangar. Right? If I can't be in a hangar, at least put me in the office doing like quality assurance, because I learned that, right? But the industry doesn't care. It's like when you're in a very, very, when there's like a lot of job shortages, you can't just slip you somewhere, right? You have to have this Hunger Games attitude towards that job. And now when you have a level 7, right, nobody's even looking at you. You know what I mean? Like no one's even looking at you. So all you actually can do is just very basic stuff. But I didn't want to accept that, so I decided to do level 8. But I realized that, I wasn't actually learning anything hard, so I want to learn something much more difficult. I think to myself, okay, I have all this knowledge about systems and this and this and this. What can I learn to sort of make me special? To make me like a superpower or something like that. Then I was like, okay, I understand what's it called? The systems, but maybe I need to learn the maths behind it, right? The maths behind it. So I applied for a master's in maths. And this is when my whole world kind of just descended. They told me all they needed from me was 2 modules where I engaged in a maths, in 2 modules where it was like maths intensive. Then I was like, oh yeah, what? I did maths. I did, what's it called? I did engineer mechanics that had maths in it, and I also did maths for technology that had a lot of maths in it, as the name says. I sent all other subjects. Now, just to remind, I'm doing a course called aviation technology, right? So this is technology right here, technology. Now, I've never looked at any other courses, what they do, what they saw, and this and this and this. I said that to them, and they were like, yeah, we cannot accept this. And I was like, huh? What do you mean you cannot accept this? Like, I did maths. And so I started sifting through what my fellow peers were doing in college. I'm seeing some of the most ridiculous courses, some of the most ridiculous modules. I'm seeing, yo, this guy did this, and they were doing that. They were working on, so they actually learned stuff. People were actually learning stuff and not just like passing time to get a job and then learn. And I was like, huh. Yeah, that's crazy. So now, I'm 3 years in, not having this, not having any other where to go, because I'm trying to work for myself. I don't have access to all my school stuff anymore. I'm already outside of school, so I'm trying to understand this, because when you done and you didn't do that well, you go do a master's to really prove yourself. But I can't even get a master's in a subject that I want to do. After learning, I can't get in a subject I want to do because I I thought I was doing something, but I just wasn't doing the thing. Okay. So, why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this to show the difference between people, right? And if any person thinks that the information they get in school is enough, that is just not the case, right? It's to a point where people are they put their security so much in their school and they believe so much in it. And even if there are fantastic people out there that are just just know what they're doing and just know how to handle life and everything themselves, right? If you put your trust in what school gives you, then it's just not the case. But now, how do you succeed regardless, right? Regardless of sort of not getting the right information in school or whatever. From what I see, is like, okay, it's like having that perspective on the world. So the world, view perspective, whatever perspective, and everyone is meant to like sort of go out and grab the information. You know, you have to just go find information, grab it, and have it. You get what I mean? And this is the thing that I sort of want to expand as much as possible, right? This idea that people can use information to do so much, right? That's what I want to look into and really understand very well. Because last year, because I looked at the math stuff and it came up that people were doing much more difficult things than me, and these same people were competing with me for my job, and my job is not really a niche, right? Anybody can do it. So it's like, why the flip was I never competing? I was just coasting. Why isn't the talking point in every class, every module, this idea of competition? And that brought a lot of regrets into like, okay, maybe if I went to this other college, or if I did this again to actually get into mechatronic engineering, But a good friend of mine, very smart friend, and he competed and he's fantastic, doing great right now. He's telling me, yo, you can't go back. You can't go back. Think about where you are, what you actually want, right? It goes first on what do you want to do, because I never cared to be the best aviation student. I never cared to go and do the most fantastic thing. But I went based on sort of what the requirements were. And for college, the requirements were you pass your classes, get some good grades, some average, and then you get your degree, and then you go from there. Now, what are the requirements to actually get what you want? Not what you think is right, what you think other people want to do. Like, for instance, like I was motivated to get a good grade for the leaving cert based on my environment. But how do people make it so certain that every single person has, or sort of, has the sort of agency to strive for as much as possible, regardless if it's not more profitable, but regardless of their own, like, not wants, but how do you tell people that it's better to just pursue the things that help the most amount of people, right? Because if it helps the most amount of people, then it's helping you as well. That's what I want, and I can't do that without sort of showing you my thinking process. So for school, college, this is how I thought, and it got me particular results. I think I kind of broke a lot of things up. I missed some stuff and some stuff, but I'm gonna grow and streamline it more. Like, for instance, this whiteboard that I brought here, because I just thought it was good to have, helped sort of keep my train of thought into one particular position, right? And I'm actually gonna go back to T1, right? It's coming to the end of the stream, so I'm gonna keep doing what I can to make sure the streams are as good as possible. And then I'm gonna do the thing I said about going to like the talk show. You know, I haven't given my stream or said it to many people yet, but I'll keep doing that more and more later. I have ideas about videos and stuff like that. Well, for this stream, it was mostly about how I thought during school and college. Very, very, very. It was very quick. You know, it was very quick insight into my thought process during school and college, right? And if I'm going to sort of tell you about my sphere of thinking and try to create a community around being very thoughtful people and trying to sort of bring about value to as many people as possible, then I have to sort of say how I think and how my thinking developed. Anyway, this was another stream. Okay, I'm gonna do another one tomorrow and then the next, and it's just gonna be a stream every single day, right? It's just gonna be a stream every single day. So yeah, don't draw conclusions, right? Because so much has happened. You don't even know my age, so don't draw conclusions. And I'll make the images sort of brighter as the streams go by. That's what I hope to do. Okay, that's it. Peace.